Hi viewers, I'm your host Aqeel Emmanuel and I welcome you to the Aqeel Show. Today I have a very important topic. The topic is related again with the dating culture in America. So in the United States, we have altogether 50 states, and in 50 states, each state have its own dating culture. Today in my podcast, we're going to talk about in general, what is dating culture in the United States? I have a very special guest. She lived and grown up in the United States. She had so much experience in traveling to different states, and I'm happy that she gave me this opportunity to interview my podcast where she can share her experience and her insight. I'd like to welcome Macy. Macy, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy that you give me this time to interview you. Before I ask you a few questions related to today's topic, I would like you to introduce yourself to my viewers, your name, your family background, your education, like where you grown up and then your experience in different states.
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, I'm from Utah, from Springville, Utah. I've lived in Utah my whole life up until my mission. And then I went back to Utah for a little bit, got my associate's degree, and then I went out to Kansas and was there for about a year. And now I'm here. I just got here to BYU, Hawaii about 2 months ago. And I'm studying biology and I want to be an embryologist. A little bit about my family. I have my mom, my dad, 4 siblings, and yeah, I love the outdoors. I love always doing stuff. That's why I love Utah so much. So
Thank you so much for sharing this. So, as I start my topic, today we're going to talk about faith and relationships, how religion shapes dating. So, my first question is Utah is known for having a lot of people who are part of the LDS church community. How does religion affect the way people date in Utah?
I feel like religion really does affect any part or any state that you're really in. For being a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, there is a belief that we can be with our families forever. We can be with our spouse forever. And so that really shapes the way that you go about dating. You want to find someone that you can spend the rest of your life with, but that you can also spend the rest of eternity with. You want to find someone that you can have kids with, grow them up to be good, righteous people.
That's interesting. So people usually date with the mindset in marriage, not just for fun. How does that change the way they date?
Yeah, we usually have marriage in mind, and it's usually after high school. I feel like when it's a little more serious, you can still have fun, you can still enjoy life, have good experiences, but you are trying to find that person that you want to spend the rest of your life with. And so I feel like it changes because you don't want to waste your time. You want to find someone that you can be compatible with, that you can enjoy life with.
Wow, so things move faster here. Now, how does shared religion help or making dating easier for people?
Yeah, it helps make it a little bit easier because you have, say, the same values, the same standards, you have the same foundation in Jesus Christ. And so throughout your day, throughout just communicating in general, you can openly talk about your faith, what you're working on, maybe what you're struggling with, and you both have a good understanding of where each other are from because of that religion or the beliefs that you have.
That makes sense. But what if two people from different religions want to date? Does it cause any problems? Especially, I'm talking about in general, like we are followers of Christ and we consider ourselves Christians. So when I talk about other or different religion, I'm not talking about specific denomination with the same religion. I'm talking about in general, like if someone is Christian and going to marry or going to date Muslim, or if you are Christian and you're going to marry Hindu or start dating a Hindu or Buddhist or any other religion. So what's your opinion about that?
Yeah, That is a really good question, because I feel like it could cause some problems. If you don't have a similar belief, it's hard to get a good understanding for each other unless you have an open heart and open mind. Actually, one of my young women's leaders growing up, she was actually a member, her husband was not. And for I think it was a really, at least 30 years of their time, he wasn't a member. But they had a good understanding. They knew they wanted to be together. They had a good love together. And so they made it work. And now he's actually a member. But it can work. I feel like if you put the right effort, you put the work, you do whatever it takes to stay together. So it could cause problems, but it also could be very beneficial. You could really get to know someone, get to understand someone, get to know them for who they are, their religion.
All right. As you give an example of young women leader who dating a non-member and then they marry together, but it's hard in the beginning, but after that they figure it out, the values and the beliefs should be same, and his husband joined the church. So I just need to know, like, his husband, be specific, he belonged to the Christian community or he's belonged to other religion or different religion?
I believe he was Christian.
Oh, okay.
So it helped.
It's helped him to understand because he's already know the gospel. He already know the Savior.
Mm-hmm.
So in general, when we talk about dating, because in America it's like so much diversity, right? People are here from all over the world, and sometimes you not judge people on the base of their religion, right? On the base of their race and color. We are more like follow the Christ attributes, love each another as you love yourself. So I'm not saying in that term, but I'm just asking you in general, like, is it easy to date like who's not from your religion, like non-Christian? Or what's your opinion on this? It's how you help to understand the youngsters who are going through this phase. Your answer or how your opinion going to help them to understand that it is good or it's not good, or how can you come over it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in my opinion, I feel like it's a lot harder to date someone from a different belief.
Okay.
Because like I stated a little bit before, there's really no understanding.
Mm-mm.
Because it's like my way or your way.
Uh-huh.
Right? There's no really commonality, especially if it's different than what you've believed in your whole life and how you've lived out your life. And so in my opinion, I feel like it would be more difficult.
All right. So now what would you tell someone who is dating? Any advice for balancing religion and relationship?
Yeah, in Utah, any advice for people in Utah with dating would just be to include God in everything. If you include God in everything, He can magnify your efforts. As long as you're trying and trying to include Him, then He can make miracles happen, and you can just progress in life. And I really feel like there's not really a balance between religion and dating. I feel like it's more of just including God in every aspect, because you can include God in the dates that you go on. You can just include Him in your relationship. And so it's less of a balance and more of inclusion in everything.
All right, it's a great advice what you just said, but you said it in Utah, but I feel like it's more globally. Like when you put God in your relationship, and if you put God first in your relationship, the Holy Ghost always help you. He always guides you what is correct, what is incorrect, right? And He always shows you where you are. He always shows you the path to follow. And I think in general, like I'm just talking about myself, and I believe like whenever I'm going through some hardship and trials, and even in my happiness, in my joyful moment, I always put God first in my life. And I feel like when you have a good time, you forget. But when you have a hardship comes on you, then you start ponder, you start praying, you start reading scriptures, and you start following the covenants and commandments. But when you have a happy time, you feel like, oh, right now I'm busy with my things. But this is not how it is. Like even if you have a happy time in your life going smooth, you have to put God first, because everything comes from Him. That is our faith, right? So you have to be strong in your faith, and if you are in strong in your faith, things will be good for you. But if you are weak in your faith, then things will be hard. So I totally agree what you said, and it's a very great advice for the young single adult. Like, no matter what relationship you're going through or what things you are doing in your life, put God first. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. Thank you so much, Macy, for coming to my podcast. And before we're going to end up our podcast, do you have any advice for young single adult who are looking for a dating, and who feel like dating is hard or it's difficult to do? What's your advice for them?
Yeah, I think my biggest piece of advice is, of course, include God, but just to put yourself out there, right? Talk to as many people as you can, because that's how you get to know people. And even if you're a little bit on the shy side, just try to talk to one new person. But I also think a big thing of dating is we're afraid what the other person will think. And if we really don't think it's going to work out, just open communication, having that communication with them. And even if you do think it's going to work out, like having that conversation, because we're not all mind readers. We don't all understand what the other person is thinking. And so just including communication through everything.
All right. Thank you so much. This is such a great advice. Thank you so much, my viewers, for watching our podcast today. And I hope whatever we shared in our podcast, it helps you to understand the American dating culture, and it will help you to grow in your dating culture. But make sure, as she mentioned, put God first. If you want your life to be happy and successful, don't forget to put God first in your life. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like my channel. Till then, I hope you have a great day ahead. Thank you. Bye bye.